The difference between what you want is not measured in years, it's measured in our mindset. If you must make progress, you have to create a new box for yourself today. Because again, I've not come to motivate you. Because some people say motivation is fleeting. It is because you don't understand what motivation is. There cannot be any discipline without motivation. Motivation is motive. You've not clarified what you want to do, so don't put it on motivation. Everything in life works with people. Your business needs people. If you're a business person, you need customers. And your lack of customers for your business is completely your fault. There are customers everywhere, you just haven't reached them. You are too busy pressing your damn phone instead of doing the right thing. You need people to keep you accountable. The fastest way to change your life is through modeling. Don't complicate things, because again, multitasking doesn't work. It comes with a switching cost, and that switching cost is not healthy for your brain. Given what you know today, do you think you are doing your best? The answer is always no. You're not doing your best. You are operating at less than 10% given what you know. Today, I want to talk to us about the growth mindset blueprint. The difference between what you want tomorrow, or the different life that you want, the different outcomes you want for yourself, your business, your family, is not measured in years. It's measured in our mindset. Because years is much about the months, and the months dovetails into days. So the same question is for you today, just like I was asked 6 years ago. If you continue to do the same things you do today, at the pace you do them, at the energy you show up, at the same level that you do them, what will your result be in the next 5 years? And I don't want you to be in a hurry to answer that question. I want that question to sit with you for as long as it can, because in finding the answer is where your own solution begins. Our answers are different, such because our phases are different. The reason why that question is important is because your mindset is like the operating system of your life. 12 months ago, I enrolled in a course, Digital Forensics, because I have this passion for cybersecurity recently. There's this software that I needed to download. It's called Autopsy. So I downloaded it. My system, for some reason, refused to install it. It says that the version of Windows I was running is actually lower than the requirement for installing that software. Long story short, I had to take the laptop out and install the latest version of Windows so that I can run that Autopsy. Our lives are almost the same way. If you want a different thing out of your life, you must stop running the old or outdated software running it. And how does this civil mindset or software creep up in? They creep up or come up as culture. And for most of us Africans, they also come up as religion, unfortunately. They come up as beliefs. They come up as trainings our parents gave us. Because I found out that within my research that if you are over-pampered growing up, if any little adversity means a lot of different. It comes with a different shade on its own. Sometimes the things we inherited growing up from our parents, from our culture, from religion, from how the experiences we've had growing up. Some of us had bad experiences in relationships, and because of that, we have summarized relationship and put it in one box. So whenever something new comes up, we go pick up that box and find meaning from that box, such that we refer or treat others from that meaning. So if you must make progress, you have to create a new box for yourself today, beginning today, somehow. So it means you must question those cultures, you must question those religions that are not serving you. You must go back to understand, where did I come from? Your parents has done the best they could raising you. Because I remember growing up, I hated rich people because I thought they were all ritualists. So when I see them those days in Enugu, I say, look at them, they are passing. Look at them, they are passing. Until one day, I met a rich uncle. And somehow, out of just I was young then, so I decided to just go visit. So when I went to his house, I stayed for 3 months. Every day I was just observing what he was doing. And I was also domesticated. So I was going into his room to see whether I can find some calabash somewhere, maybe to justify something that I already had before, that all rich men are ritualists. But unfortunately, I didn't find any. I noticed that he's always up early. He's always conversing or chatting with some people who I don't know. Now I found out they were his international partners, so he was always up early. Then he always leaves to work every day early, comes back late. So he had a routine. So growing up, I found out that, okay, does it mean that all rich people are not truly ritualists? Okay, but growing up, I had that mindset that all rich people are ritualists. Some of us have a lot of it, and some of us is our circle. Okay, you have this, paddies you grew up with. You guys like, you relate at the same certain level. You like it the way you relate with them, and you don't want to change that. Unfortunately, they are keeping you small because you cannot be operating at that frequency and expect anything to change. It's not going to change today. Your results are already written if you continue in that old mindset. So today I want to introduce, through a PATH framework, PATH, what I call the growth mindset blueprint. A pathway that can help you, help me, help any of us from today begin to think inwards, to look at what is, so that you can create a path to what could be and what can be. The first P is for perspective, and that perspective deals with rethinking your idea of yourself. I know you already have some perspective about who you think you are, but if that idea has already brought you thus far, you need a new identity in thinking about who you are that will take you to the next level. There's this tale about a chicken that was raised, or an eagle that was raised in a chicken yard. The eagle kind of grew up with chicken, so he thought to himself that it's chicken. Even though sometimes he sees eagle from a distance, but because he's already used to the life of chicken, so he assumes and has taken himself as a chicken, even though he's an eagle. Okay, so his life has been limited to what he is used to. But there's a different psychology I want to introduce us to. Because if you adopt that, you might begin to see things differently. Now, there's this psychologist called Carol Dweck. I like her work so much because she said that our capacity is infinitely developable. It means that whatever you know today can be changed tomorrow. Now, within the last 5 years, I have done things that I didn't know I can. Personally, I don't like taking risk. Before now, I rather let that 5 million in my account remain there than let it reduce. Okay, I'll rather risk losing the 5 million than being a little bit adventurous in trying something and getting feedback from it. So just let the money sit in the bank and just let it not grow. So within that 5 years, I haven't only taken risk, I have done 2 PhDs, 2 masters, an MBA just within this 5 years, because I want to stretch the capacity of my thinking. If your life is only in small things, your result will be small. There are 2 kinds of mindset according to Carol Dweck works. It says there is the fixed mindset. Some people say, well, there's nothing I can do. I've been born where I've been born. I have no hand in it, because we all don't have a hand in where we were born. We came out, we had our parents, we had no hand in it. So some people say, well, I've had my own luck. I went to school, I came out, there's no work, there's nothing I can do. Let me just stay, whatever happens, there's nothing I can do. That's the fixed mindset. Some people say, well, I started this business 5 years ago. Well, it's just growing organically in my own eyes. There's nothing I can do. Customers are coming at their own pace. Okay, let me just leave it like that. Another person says, no. Whatever I want, I can achieve. If I put myself together to think big and commit daily action to that, it is actually possible to become something out of it. We are not stretching ourselves enough. For me, it happened through a friend. Like I said, I don't like taking risk. I rather remain in my smallness. But I met someone who loves taking calculated risk. And he held me and said, let's try this. Let's try it this way. And over time, it worked for me. So today I'm doing it like I started out that way. So for you, today can be that day that you say, okay, I think I've played small. I think I've been on the fixed mindset, playing small with my business, just doing average 5 million. It's okay, it's cool. After all, I can feed my family, it's fine. Or I graduated 5 years ago, I don't have a job. Let me just be managing life the way it is. Or someone can say, today is the day that change begins for me. Because Nigeria is actually not the problem. I have asked a lot of my colleagues that given what you know today, do you think you are doing your best? The answer is always no. You're not doing your best. You are operating at less than 10% given what you know. So what is the problem? Why can't we just pull ourselves and do what we are supposed to do? Today can be a different day for you, understanding that your capacity, in fact, what you can do is the depth has no measure. You have been the one limiting yourself all this while. By playing small, by thinking, well, there is nothing I can do. Then I talked about the growth mindset. There are 5 dimensions of this growth mindset. The first is learning. Like I said, every strategic intervention begins with an objective. What are we trying to achieve here? What is the goal? So when you start your business any day, any year, any month, every day, what is the goal you are trying to achieve? What's the goal? So if you're developing a marketing plan, a strategic plan, what is the goal? What are we trying to achieve? Whatever you're trying to achieve, if you think you don't have it right now, if you think you don't have the capacity to do that, it can be learned. So what that means is, if your business is doing 5 million now, but your goal is to push your business to at least do 10 million within the next 30 days, and you think you don't have what it takes to do it, you can learn it. That's what it means. So you can look at your operations, you can look at your marketing, you can look at your customers. You can look at new customers. There's a man I was talking to one day. He started his business in finance, actually in insurance. He said he started the business 3 years ago. I also have a brother who started fintech business in Lagos. Everything is possible now. So what he did was, first of all, to buy contacts of people who are within the finance space, who always borrow money at the end of the month. Talking about my brother now. So he got the contract, he bought it for somehow, whatever you're looking for, you can always get it if you're curious enough. So he bought the contact, and for the first 30 days, he was making calls. So his website was ready, his operations was ready. So he was making daily calls to 100 persons every day. He started with some seed capital. In less than 1 week, he has exhausted what he's starting with. So he's now calling, looking for investors now. That's what he's doing now. He's looking for how to expand the business now. Because for your business, your problem is not lack of customers. It is because you've not sat down to articulate what you want for this business. Everything can be learned. If you are curious enough, you will find answers. The problem is our resourcefulness, gentlemen and ladies. We think that most of us, the schools we went to has done a disservice to us, unfortunately. So most of us think we went to school, but unfortunately we didn't go to school. We just fulfilled, just to pass through the number of days doing nothing, learning nothing. And when we finished, we felt that was enough to change our life. Unfortunately, it's not. You have not learned anything. So how will you change your life? Anything you want to do that begins with a strategic intervention of objective can be learned. If you want your life to change and you don't know how, you can learn it. So that's the first dimension of the growth mindset. The second dimension of the growth mindset is adaptability. Brothers, friends, you're going to lose things, things will fail, your business might not go the way you planned. When I started my risk adventure, the first thing that I lost, the first business I did, I lost 5 million. But that was not all that I started with. So I learned my lesson quickly, and made sure I didn't repeat the same in the next one. Things will not go the way you planned. Sometimes it will look as if nothing is working, but you must find ways to quickly rebound back to the objective. Remember, every strategic intervention, including changing your life, including improving your life, begins with an objective. What do you want? So you must find ways to always reconnect back to what you want quickly when life comes calling. Your health might fail. Some of us, that's a problem. Some of us, it is clarity. Some of us, it is distraction. But for some reason, you must find ways to quickly adapt. In fact, for me, adaptability is the most single trait of high performance. There was an ad I saw online where Richard Branson was calling some people to come check out something. They were ignoring him. Because if you're into sales like I am, customers will reject you. Customers, they say they don't want your product. You must quickly put yourself together and look for the next person who needs what you offer, boldly and confidently. The next is risk-taking. Most of us here are young, maybe in our 30s, some late 30s, some late 20s. This is the time you must take risk on your business, on yourself. If you don't take risk now, it is not the same when you are 40s like me. In fact, the impact is not the same. The process you go through is not the same. So this is the time you have to take the big risk for yourself, to invest in your life, to say, today I'm going to do this. First of all, I'm going to learn how it works first, because I don't encourage investing in what you don't understand. You must first of all learn what works within what you want to do. Then you must take risk in that thing. I've been speaking with Martin about what he needs to do for his business, because where he is right now, if he's unwilling to take risk, he will remain where he is. For him, he's doing well, but I've always told him he's not, because there is something that he needs to do to move from where he is. He needs to take risk. He's still playing small, probably given from where he's coming from. Remember what I said, background. So he likes it small. Let this 10 million not diminish you. This 10 million that I managed to see, instead of vanishing, let me remain at 10 million. But it doesn't work that way. If you must move from 10 to 20, 10 to 15, or even 1 million to 2, there is some risk taking you must do, both on yourself and in some ideas of business or stuff you want to do. If you continue to play small, like I always say, your results are almost written. It is the same thing that you've always had. The next thing again that growth-minded people do is forward thinking. Everything is not about today. As I said, your income is your number one wealth building tool. If you eat everything you make every day, there will be nothing reserved for tomorrow. So every business, everybody must have plan for the future, even though we know what we have is today. But there has to be some form of plan for the future, because we have hope for tomorrow. Then the last is confidence. Without confidence, I don't know what you're doing. Like I always say, you can pitch the best idea, but if you don't have confidence, nobody will buy. And the world is wicked. If you play small, if you play timid, if you play weak, the world will treat you as such. The world has no place for weakness, unfortunately. If you are small, timid, and weak, people will use you and play. So friends, there is no place in this world for weakness. It's not that you won't be vulnerable, that's not what I'm saying. You understand the kind of weakness I'm talking about? The weakness that keeps you small, the weakness of I don't know what to do. Because you know what to do, I want to believe. I was talking to him, I said, most of us know what we do to change our lives. But the problem is, how do we get ourselves from that place we are in our head to begin to do the things that changes our lives? Again, it can be today for someone to begin to ask, okay, I'm ready. What is the next move? What's the first move that I must do? And that takes us to the next thing I want to talk about. The next thing, which is on the A, is alignment. You need to clarify what is important. And that is in 3 dimensions. Clarity of self. What do I want? Take away your titles, your roles. Who are you? Take away your demography, where you were born, your age, the color of your skin, maybe the role you perform in your office or your role as a CEO. If you take those things away, who are you? I am a potential, limitless, loving, kind, and compassionate. I am potential. Potential speaks of what is inside, what your capabilities are. It still boils down to the growth mindset. Now, this is what I've defined for myself. That I'm a potential means my expressions are limitless. Anything I can think through, I can sit through, I can plan through, I can do through, I can what? I can have. Not immediately, over time. So I want you to sit with that question again, because your answers will help you anytime you're with yourself. So you can understand anytime you're thinking big things and you're like, can this small me do this? I need you to remind yourself that you are what? A potential, limitless, and capable of anything. So that's how I like to think about myself. And that has helped me a lot. So most times, remove your role. Customer service is limiting. MD of Washmasters is limiting. It's too small. So that you can find the expression within yourself to think and believe that you can, and begin to do the things that has the capacity again to change your life. So I said, you must clarify who you are. That's clarity of self. You must clarify your vision. What do you want? Then you must clarify how do you get there. 3 things. So the second thing you must do as part of the growth mindset blueprint is alignment. Aligning who you are, what you want, and how you want to get there. This is so important for your business, for your life. Who am I? What do I want for the next 90 days? Because again, 90 days will come and go, but your results will be determined by what we're talking about today. Your mindset, your operating system. Because the same 90 days will be lived every day. Every morning you wake up, you do stuff or you do shit. You do the things that move you towards something that you want, or is it that pulling you away from what you want? Then while you are doing this, remember that you're also assessing what is. What is at what's my present state right now? Because again, I've not come to motivate you. Because some people say motivation is fleeting. It is because you don't understand what motivation is. There cannot be any discipline without motivation. Motivation is motive. There can't be discipline without motive. Motivation is not fleeting. You are damn weak doing nothing about yourself. So stop putting it on motivation. You've not clarified what you want to do. So don't put it on motivation. Motivation is not fleeting. The next one is trust and tribe. Okay, because whether you like to hear it or not, life is not a solo sport. You cannot do it alone. If you're a business person, you need customers. And your lack of customers for your business is completely your fault. There are customers everywhere, you just haven't reached them. You are too busy pressing your damn phone instead of doing the writing. You are too busy just being distracted. Everything in life works with people. Your business needs people. If you have an idea, you need people to fund it if you don't have the money. If you have the money, fantastic. At some point, you need people. Your life, again, will always thrive well with certain people around you. If you have those people around you, it simplifies and makes the job and the process easier. And also the process of tribe and trust. These days I see a lot of people connecting on LinkedIn because that's a good place to grow your network. If you're not on LinkedIn as a professional, you're wrong. But most people treat it wrong. They just say, can we connect? Boom, and send a shot. It doesn't work that way. People will not connect. Like I said again, everything that I'm talking about links back, or they all stack up together. If you know what you want, you will know the kind of people to look out for. If you don't know what you want, you will know the kind of people you look out for. You need people to keep you accountable. So if your why is like, let's just be, because you have other option. If this one doesn't work, you can afford to be managing here and there. If that is your idea, I'm sorry, your why is not strong enough. It's not going to work. It's either this works or I die here. That's kind of mindset. You're not going to die, but that's the mindset. And that's what makes it work. So you're investing everything you have, your time, your energy into it. So you can attract the right circle, the right people that's going to change everything. And remember, these things, they're not like when you start it, everything works out well, it's going to be all good. By the others, lie. There are days I don't feel like doing anything. So many of them. As in, I just feel like, let me just press my phone, because it's good to press your phone. It's very interesting to just press your phone. But you've got to do what you've got to do. If your goal is to change your life, you've got to do what you've got to do. And friends, mentors, in fact, I said this again, the fastest way to change your life is through modeling. Okay, let me take us a little back to psychology. The brain doesn't like to do so much in terms of cognitive, because it takes energy to do anything. It takes energy to do computation. It takes energy to think, sit down and plan your life. It takes energy. And most of us, we don't like that stress of, going through the mental strength to sit down and do stuff that changes our life. So most times we just postpone it. Let it be tomorrow, let it be tomorrow, let it be tomorrow. But for some, the fastest way is by model. We call it modeling in psychology. Modeling is copying what works. So if you see what someone is doing that works, you replicate it. It saves you a lot of thinking capacity. It saves you a lot of time to sit and think. Businesses do it. Habits, you can even implement it in your habits. Modeling works. Okay? So talking about friends and trust, you must find people that talk about the things you want to talk about, that see the things the way you want to see things. If all your friends are let's party, unfortunately, your money, because after every party you're spending money. After every paprika, it's money that you're spending. If you don't have any friend that says, come, let's talk about some ideas, you need such friends. If all you have is, man, let's party, it doesn't work. You need some friends who says, come back, you're going in the wrong direction. Come back, this is not gonna work. Let's fine tune it. Come back, how do we plan for this? Come back, how do we make our families better? How do we treat our wives better? How do we treat our husbands better? How do we raise good children? How do we make this business work? How do we improve ourselves? You need friends like that. If you don't have it, find them. It makes these things easier for us. And so I talked about the value first principle, because the goal of relationship, like I said again, is trust. Even in sales, it's trust. Someone has got to trust you before he can part with money. He's got to believe that whatever you're coming for is not in some form of what is in it for me. Okay, let me just take Uzbo's one and run. Okay, you must build trust by always giving value first. Value first principle is what I always advocate in terms of connections. So find people at your level you can relate with. That's the first level. Then find people up. If you can't access them, find ways to reach them, to hear them, to always make sure you are listening to them. So you go the same way, your peers, then you go up. Then find people below you can pull up. You can teach. You can groom. Because whether we like it or not, some people are looking up to you. Yes, you. So 3 levels of connection. Within your peers, you go up, then you go down. Okay? Remember, if I only do the talking today and you go and do nothing, 30 days will pass, 1 week will pass, the results are already written. It will be the same. Your mood will be the same. Your energy might be the same. Your results will be the same. Because if you continue to do the same, the results are written already. But my hope again is that at least you start from somewhere. One thing, don't complicate things, because again, multitasking doesn't work. It comes with a switching cost, and that switching cost is not healthy for your brain. So start one, do one thing differently. Do it better. Do it better again. Most times, now look at what works for me. I come to every intellectual deliberation with some cognitive bias. So because there are two truths basically. You have the truth and my truth. So because I love experimentation, if I take what I have learned, I apply it to myself, then I get feedback for myself. That becomes my own knowledge. If it worked, I do it more. If it doesn't work, I trash it. But you must shorten the time you do. So do it quickly, don't delay. You learn a new thing, apply it. Did it work? Yes. Do more of it. It didn't work? Okay, let me look for the next idea. It didn't work for me. So you go to the next idea. But do more of what works for you. But remember again, what works for you, if it is doing the same thing that have brought you to the same place you are now, then I don't think it's giving you the result you want, right? The final one is habits. Habits is what you do every day. So when you got up this morning, the first thing most of us do is to reach for their phones. It's habit. So for some of us, it's by the bedside. So when you wake up, you just pick it. Yeah, it's habits. It's not everybody. I don't keep my phones in my bedroom. It's in my office. It's locked there. I only pick it when I want to leave for work. So I pick it, put it in my bag, and I leave for work. So I only touch it when I get to the office. It's habits. Habits, that's what I'm talking about. So for some of us, you pick up the phone, then after that, you stay with the phone, you go through TikTok, then from there, you just sluggishly, you check status, an update. Thank you.
Probably your contact list is too
So from there, maybe you go brush your teeth. From there, you just sluggishly walk to the kitchen or you prepare for work. But these are habits. If it's been serving you, continue. But if it's not been serving you, you need a change. And what I usually advocate is, first of all, you must learn the habit of getting up early. Wake up early, 4:30, 5 o'clock, get up. Because what I found personally is that the days that I rush off to work unorganized, that day is usually unorganized, usually messed up. Nothing works that day because you've already started, you started the day wrong. But the days that I got up early or planned my day the night before that day, by 12 I already have a lot achieved. It's the same way. If you wake up early, you'll be surprised at what you can do between 5 to 6 before every other person wakes up. Or it might be 4 for you, it might be 5 for you, but make it there. And you also start with going to bed early. Because again, there are basic things that I advocate for. If you don't sleep well, then you might be needing a lot of creatine, which you may not need. But if you sleep well, you don't need the creatine or some supplements or that to make up for the sleep deprivation. So sleep early, so you can wake up early. These are habits we're talking about too. For some of us, who, from paprika to iceberg, from iceberg to, what's the latest?
Nova.
To Nova.
5 friends.
So thank you, 5 friends. Then you're sleeping at 11 or 12, and you are catching just 5 hours of sleep. You just hurriedly wake up, hurriedly rush up. My dear, that day, nothing will work that day. So habits, remember what I said. Whatever you want, whatever your visions are, it is your habits that will lead them. It is what you do every day that will implement them. Okay, so if you say you want to call 100 customers, new customers every day for your business, And you want to do it every day before 12, such that if there's any follow-up you need to do, if there's anybody you want to go see, you can go see. Or before 12, there are things you want to have checked off on your list based off of what you want. Remember, everything, like I said, they stack up. It begins with the P perspective about the rethinking self. Then it goes to A, which is alignment, aligning your 3 areas: self, vision, and how you get there, right? Then I talked about T, which is your trust and tribe. Then the H, everything stacks up on each other. Because your habit now is you are living out your alignment. You are living out what you want. Yes. You are living out the plan of what you want. Talking about habits, it is also the habits that you remember. I talked about tribe in the second one. Then I had a friend who used to keep me accountable in a particular thing we're learning. So every Friday we'll call ourselves. He lives in Lagos, but every Friday we'll have a Zoom call by 9 p.m. Every Friday, we don't miss it. So he will always call so that we can keep ourselves accountable to what we said we will do. So that is how these things stack up, from perspective to alignment to your friends to your habits. Your friends, your partner, who might be your wife, could be your girlfriend. Some system must keep you accountable to what you said you're gonna do. If you don't, like I said, if you don't have the friends who are seeing the way you're seeing, thinking, discussing the same thing, because again, I only have 2 friends in this town, 2 like friends who are, so every time we meet, it's business we're talking about. How to make more money. He does solar business. He has been doing it for like 20 years now. So he's inspiring me in my own business. I'm inspiring him in his own. So we are both rubbing off on each other. And sometimes he will say, "Okay, when was the last time you took our wives out? Let's take our wives out." That's the kind of friend you want to be hanging out with now. Huh? So because we share almost the same thing. So you need similar friends. You need similar people in your life, in your goals, because again, there are many dimensions of your life beyond finance. Your life is not about money. You can have money and be miserable. Trust me. You can have money and feel miserable. I have a friend like that. Miserable. He's rich. So you want to make sure you are balancing your mood, you are balancing your experiences, you are balancing your habits, you are balancing your family, you are balancing so many. You have to balance everything. None should be lagging. That's what gives you the whole being, the complete self. So my goal for you again is that if you start to implement the growth mindset blueprint, which I talked about in 4 parts: rethinking yourself, aligning what you want and how you want to get there, building your circle, and turning these goals into daily habits. Except if you choose not to do anything. If you do them, I am certain of one thing: you will not be where you are today. You might not be where you want to be, but you will not be where you are today. You will start seeing some leap, some change, some adjustments here and there if you decide to work. Because again, our problem is our resourcefulness, not a lack of resources. I'll say it anywhere. Because again, I was born again in the slums, and I've told us how I used to believe rich people are all ritualists. But again, the stories are different because someone helped along the way. A friend. And I might be that friend for you today if you want to start your own journey. So your destiny, your life, my own, is in our hands. And we are to wield it, direct it how we want, how we choose. But I hope you direct it using the PATH framework.